Today, we're making everybody's brunch favorite, waffles. And these aren't just any waffles. These are a variation on a recipe that became internet famous as waffles of insane greatness. And friends, these are insanely great. They're crispy on the outside, just a little bit soft in the center, and they don't require any special preparation, just a 30-minute rest between mixing the batter and cooking it. And those 30 minutes are perfect for frying up some bacon, slicing some fruit, or maybe grabbing a quick shower before it's time for everybody to sit down to brunch. Let's get cooking. To make our waffle batter, we're going to start by pulling together our dry ingredients. That will be 1.5 cups of flour, just regular all-purpose flour for us. As ever, measurements and full recipe are in the description below. So our 1.5 cups is 180 grams. And then we're going to put in another 1/2 cup or another 60 grams of cornstarch. And the cornstarch is what helps these waffles to be nice and fluffy without having that overnight yeasted waffle rise. There are lots of different techniques I've tried. I've done one with like soda water in it, like seltzer, all different things. But this seems to do the trick especially well. So there we are, just a couple extra grams for luck. All right, so cornstarch. We're going to put in a tablespoon of sugar. Waffles, of course, will get plenty of sweetness from their toppings, so this is plenty. A tablespoon of sugar. A teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. All right, so there are our dry ingredients, and we are going to give those a nice thorough whisk so that everything is distributed evenly. Generally speaking, you want to give dry ingredients about 30 seconds, at least 30 seconds of stirring, so you don't wind up with pockets of like baking soda or baking powder somewhere, or a little too much salt here and not enough another spot. All right, so we'll call that stirred together, and next what we'll do is assemble our wet ingredients, and so that's going to be that's going to require a trip to the refrigerator. Give me just a second. Ta-da! We have buttermilk. We are going to put a cup of buttermilk in, as well as a cup of whole milk. If you don't have whole milk, skim milk, 2%, etc. is just fine. You can do this with all buttermilk, but we seem to really enjoy it with about 1/2 buttermilk and 1/2 whole milk. There we go. And to our milk, we're going to add, or our milks, 2/3 of a cup of just regular vegetable oil. You can use melted butter as well. Any of those, any neutral oil will work just about there. All right, and 2 eggs. And if you don't think of this far enough ahead of time to have your eggs at room temperature, no big deal. Borrow the whisk from the dry ingredients, whisk this together until the oil is pretty well distributed. There's no globs of egg yolk, etc. And then we are going to pour our wet ingredients right into the bowl or the mixing cup with our dry ingredients. And we'll just whisk as we do that. Make sure we get all of that. Whisk until that is pretty thoroughly incorporated. We don't want any big clumps of flour in there. If there are little lumps, that's fine. It's all right for it to be not totally smooth. That's okay. We just want to make sure that there's no big dry patches in there. Sometimes I'll go as far as to look underneath, make sure there's no bits of unincorporated flour lurking at the bottom. And that is that for now. We are going to let this sit for 30 minutes in order for some nice bubbles to form. This is what's going to contribute to that texture along with the cornstarch. This 30-minute rest is going to contribute to a nice light fluffy texture for our waffles. So we'll be back in 30 minutes. About 5 minutes before that time is up, I'll go ahead and turn on my waffle maker as well. Of course, use whatever waffle maker you have, and the size of the waffles and yield will vary based on that. All right, let's let this, I should let you take a look at that. All right, and now let's let this rest for 30 minutes and we'll be back. Our 30 minutes has passed and our waffle batter has formed just a few more little bubbles that we can see at the surface. It is ready to cook. I've got a Belgian waffle maker, a double Belgian waffle maker actually, and it is preheated and ready for our waffles. So we're going to get going with this. If you're trying to feed a bunch of people at the same time, waffles are a little bit of a challenge, I will say. At least in terms of getting everybody's hot waffle to them at the same time. You can absolutely have an oven heated to warm or on very low and keep your waffles warm and crisp in there and then serve everybody at once, or folks can just eat in shifts. All right, I'm gonna get my waffles into my waffle maker. And obviously serving sizes or serving numbers will vary depending. I find that this recipe gives me 8 Belgian waffles. So it is a good one for our family plus a few extras. And if you have extras, they will reheat nicely in a toaster oven or a toaster. If you anticipate having some leftover waffles, you might want to cook those last couple a little bit less brown than the rest so that you can toast them and they won't over brown when they're reheated. All right, we'll be back with some delicious waffles. Our first waffle is ready for the plate. We'll gently sneak that guy out of the waffle maker and top as you wish. This one is going to get a bit of Irish butter. A little bit of maple syrup. And some nice fresh fruit to go with. Right on top. Of course, waffles are great with powdered sugar, jam, butter, or as is. I'll be sneaking a taste of this before I make the rest. I hope that you give this a try and that you check back every Friday at 4 o'clock for a new video.